I don't think we're talking about Nick Nurse unless Kawhi Leonard comes to Toronto and helps them win that championship. So I think that's an obvious thing to say. But if you reverse it for a second, what's more important, I think, to people in Philadelphia right now is whether or not Kawhi would have gotten that ring in Toronto if they would have won the championship in 2019 without Nick Nurse. Because as you mentioned, very experimental, not afraid to change things up and even go to an 8th grade style of defense, really. So do you think the Raptors would have won without him as their head coach? Let's say they held on to Dwayne Casey for another year. Would they have won that championship without Nick Nurse as their head coach?
It's hard to say. I mean, so it's funny that Sixers series, if I look back at that one, I actually thought Brett Brown.
I thought he was great. I thought he was great.
I thought he was really good in that series. I mean, the specific move you can point to is that he put Embiid on Siakam and completely changed the series after Siakam torched them in game one. And, the way they lost was that Kawhi was insane. And, Nick Nurse's offense at the end of that game was not anything to write home about. It was Kawhi shoot every time down the court.
Right.
Hopefully we have more points than the Sixers at the end of the night. And they had 2 more points than the Sixers at the end of the night. So, but look, once he got past that moment, I thought he did a really good job. They were in an 0-2 hole against Milwaukee. Thought he definitely got the better of Budenholzer in that series. And then, he caught a nice break in the finals. Like Kevin Durant was not available for most of that finals. Klay Thompson got hurt. But I think it was clear that they were in a situation where Dwayne Casey, they had gotten to a level where he just wasn't advancing past that level in the playoffs. And they go to Nick Nurse. They went internal that time. So first time head coaches can do it. My answer is probably no, though. Like I think he did a really good job, and that Raptors team, they went up another level. And I think a lot of that is Kawhi Leonard. Again, like this is a players-based league, but once the head coach gets them over the top, like that's on his resume. He deserves a lot of credit for that.
I'll tell you, when I go back to that series, that Toronto Raptors series, obviously there's quadruple doink there, but I think Brett Brown actually did a wonderful job in that series. And then I think about Nick Nurse, just when it came to having to push buttons, he certainly pushed a lot of them.